Yes, so my people, he get this particular issue where we say done the trend now. This our brother, what do they call Okechukwu? He don't carry another Ubunge information come. I beg, if you know they share our videos, this one, you need to share it. So listen to what he has to say concerning this evil seed where they say Bill Gates once give Nigeria now. He don't call expose Bill Gates and don't do to her. Or yeah, watch this video and share it. Share it to create awareness. We will not accept this rubbish seed. Within they share, they give everybody. Now make a say, make a carry and come. All of us must join hands together. Or yeah, watch.
Hi everyone, I hope you're all doing great today. So I look a little calm, but I'm as livid as can be. I just saw this news. I just stumbled on the news that the federal government has approved the commercial release of transgenic, insect-resistant, and drought-tolerant maize varieties known as Tela maize. Basically, GMO maize, genetically modified maize, fake maize, artificial maize for planting. Let me read further. The approval was granted by the National Committee on Naming, Registration, and Release of Crop Varieties, Livestock Breeds / Fisheries, and it's called NCNRRCVLF, at its 33rd meeting at the National Center for Genetic Resources and Biotechnology, NACGRAB, Ibadan, in Oyo State. The 4 varieties of this fake artificial maize approved by the NVRC are, here are the codes: SAMMAZ, Samaz 72T, SAMMAZ 73T, SAMMZ 74T, and Samaz 75T. That's what they released. 4 varieties of artificial, fake, genetically manipulated maize that is not what God created originally, the one that man made by himself, and not the kind of normal man that will make, but the men who hate humanity made by themselves. And the Nigerian government has just approved it for commercial release, meaning that it will come very close to your doorstep if you are a farmer, meaning that our farmers all over Nigeria will now have access to this to be planting. Of course, they have been doing this, but now it's going to go full blown. It's going to go ballistic. The new maize varieties are drought tolerant and are resistant to stem borer and fall armyworm, resulting in a yield advantage of up to 10 tons per hectare under good agronomic practices. They resist, they tolerate drought, and they resist diseases. They are insecticide in themselves. I know you don't believe me when I say they are insecticides in themselves. You know, typical insecticides will kill any man, any human being at the drop of a hat. And they are telling you that these ones resist insects that come to eat the crops. So they are insecticides in themselves. Insecticides are built into them. It's not enough they are manipulated and genetically manipulated, and things that are important that come with proper organic maize and organic things are taken away from them. But they are also poisons in themselves. And I will show you now. And this now begs the question: could this be why they've allowed Nigeria to descend into such a terrible pit of hunger, of lack, of want, of pauperity? Have you seen where we are? in Nigeria, economic degradation at the 0 point of economic welfare. People are literally dying of hunger. Nigerians have never had it so bad. Could this be the reason so that as people cry that there is no food, they can come up with something? Oh, let's go with this Bill Gates maize, so that the yield will be several times more than what we have ever had in history. And then the people will rush. And then impotence, sterility in women, all kinds of rubbish that they had already injected in the corn, in the maize, plus the poison, the toxins will now begin to act on us. Your immune system will now begin to crumble like a pack of cards. These things are known. These are not speculations. Let me read you something. Hold on. It's called The Dangers of GMO. I'll read it. He said, aside from grave doubts about the quality and integrity of risk assessment, I also have specific science-based concerns over GMOs. These concerns are mostly particular to specific transgenes and traits. It says many GMO plants are engineered to contain their own insecticides. Many GMO plants are engineered to contain their own insecticides on the inside of them. So when you eat, you are eating an insecticide. These GMOs, which include maize, cotton, and soybeans, are called BT plants. BT plants get their name because they incorporate a transgene. You heard me read it from the report. Because they incorporate a transgene that makes a protein-based toxin, sometimes called the cryotoxin, from the bacterium Bacillus thuringiensis. Yes. Many BT crops are stacked, meaning they contain a multiplicity of these cryotoxins. Their makers believe each of these BT toxins is insect-specific and safe. However, there are multiple reasons to doubt both safety and specificity. One concern is that Bacillus thuringiensis is all but indistinguishable from the well-known anthrax bacterium, which is also known as Bacillus anthracis. Another reason is that BT insecticides share structural similarities with ricin. Ricin is a famously dangerous plant toxin, a tiny amount of which was used to assassinate the Bulgarian writer and defector Georgy Markov in 1978. What they have in these crops is the same structure with the ricin that was used to assassinate this Bulgarian writer in 1978. This is a professional who has lived almost all his life as a genetic engineer. Jonathan R. Lethem, PhD. Almost all his life. You can look him up. He's telling you that the thing they are asking us in Africa to eat is actually engineered to carry insecticides inside of it, which is why they say insects cannot eat them. All those insects that you want to spray, to kick out from your farms, when they now come to eat these ones, you know what happens? They die because what they're eating is insecticides, but you're told to eat it, that it is okay. In recent times, you know how many videos I've made about GMOs, genetically modified organisms. What is wrong with the organic ones that we grew up knowing? the ones that follow the natural course of growth. If you're telling me to accept a corn or maize or a crop that was made inside the laboratory over the one that naturally exists, you're also telling me to prepare to say goodbye to natural human beings and accept AI and robots as the occupants of this universe. You who carried yourself to the place where they signed a deal under this President Bola Tinubu regime, you who was a part of this arrangement with Bill Gates, have you resigned from being a human being? Why are you still a natural being and you are accepting for us to accept something that was manufactured in the lab when we still have plenty of the ones that naturally exist in our midst? Knowing fully well that the properties that give it the nutrients that we take as humans have been tinkered with and removed, and you, because of money, went and sat down, collected money and agreed to introduce poison to the rest of the people. You are insane.
Share the video.
Outside of South Africa, Nigeria now has become the next place, the second place to adopt this madness on a commercial level. Sometimes why it's a bit tiring and suffocating to talk about Nigeria is that Nigeria doesn't exist like a proper, like even a normal country. There's nothing normal about Nigeria. If there was anything normal about Nigeria, you wouldn't have this kind of conversation taking place. Not even after a Nigerian doctor in Jemaze had already raised alarm. I'm going to play you a clip from his video. He raised alarm and talked about this. They even told the president of Nigeria, beware, there is a plan to poison our people with this. He even accused these guys of being behind the killings of our farmers, and he gave data, raw data. I will play it now on what these people were doing. And despite all his alarm, the Nigerian government still had the effrontery to go and put signature to something like this. On the African continent, the cradle of nature and civilization, where we have organic foods everywhere and crops everywhere, where we all know how good organic crops have been to us as Africans. Because they tried Ebola on us, it didn't kill us. They tried this other one, HIV, it didn't do us much. They came with COVID, still our people resisted. Did you hear the data of the death that was recorded in COVID? And how little the numbers were on Africa? Did you hear when Bill Gates' wife was saying that they can see death on the street, dead bodies all over? It never happened. And they went to the drawing table and said, what is wrong with these people? Why is it that every disease we release, they survive it? It is because of the organic foods you eat, you Africans. And we now have very stupid people in the seat of power who will have the effrontery to not even take all these things into consideration before going to sign. These guys brought this same thing in India. They were kicked out. Algeria rejected it. In the whole of Russia, this rubbish is not allowed. But Nigeria is accepting it. On whose behalf? Who gave you the permission to accept this on my behalf? When you see people crying that they want to be on their own and govern themselves, we need to break away from Nigeria, you think it's a joke. These are all some of the reasons. How dare you? How dare you? Go look it up. Don't depend on me. Look it up and see the number of countries that have kicked this rubbish out of their... Russia is a case in study. They are not just banning the farming of this thing in their country. They have banned even the importation of it into their country. But Nigeria is accepting it, and it's on the African continent. What is it that you're looking for, federal government of Nigeria? To drive in your large convoys and see dead bodies everywhere. That's what you guys want. The gates have been open. Videos are all over the internet that they want to reduce the population of the world. He didn't hide it. He didn't even give a subliminal messaging or whatever. He didn't even paint. He just went straight up and told you. And that's the guy you guys are partnering with. To introduce maize that when you plant, you cannot take the seed and plant again into the soil. Maize that when you plant, it will not reproduce itself. You will now have to go back to the one who gave you before, and then they will give you new seeds. And when they feel like these seeds need to be modified again, they will modify it again and put whatever other insecticide they wish inside the seed and now give to the farmers. And this is how the modification will keep on going on from time to time until what you're eating is complete fertilizer. And nobody can stop it. And not only that, I'm going to show you a few videos today. You are going to be fully dependent on these guys. Let me show you what Njemanze said about this thing that the federal government of Nigeria ignored and still went ahead. So when you are running away from an enemy, you say, let me run to my home, that I will have people who will protect me and ward off the enemy. And the people you run to in your own home are the ones rather who lifted up their sticks to kill you. So the enemy didn't have to do it. This is exactly what is happening now. We have seen danger and we ran to the federal government, and the federal government was now the one lifting up the stick to kill the citizens. How? Listen to Dr. Njemanze.
They killed the farmers because they wanted to make sure they eliminate all the seed growers in the country. So when they eliminate the seed growers, the natural seeds will never be available again. And how they did that was very simple. What they did was that they just gave 14 million cell phones to all Nigerian farmers. So they could track those people who were being paid for seeds. So when other farmers go to them, they go to buy seeds, and then they know that this person was being paid for seeds. So he's the one selling the seeds. So they now use the GPS coordinates on these so-called electronic wallets, which are just cell phones, to target all of them and eliminate them. When you eliminate the natural seed growers, there will be no other alternative to the GMO, genetically modified organisms, foods and seeds. So they brought these seeds as improved seeds. The other farmers, they drove them into IDP camps and came to these IDP camps under the different NGOs and international agencies and presented these GMO seeds. So the farmers will now leave, they will temporarily hold their military activities in those areas, so the farmers will go and resettle. When they resettle, they start planting the GMO seeds. Once you plant the GMO seeds that first time, that first seed you get from that your maize, if you eat it, that will be the last you are going to eat. Because if you take the seed from that GMO corn and plant it, it will not grow. The gene that allows replication has been switched off. So you have to go back to the person who produced the initial seed. That is, in this case in Nigeria, it will be Monsanto. They will now use them to reproduce these seeds. So these seeds are what actually makes the agricultural produce to move on. So they are using this technique to eliminate all the natural seed growers. And then when the remaining farmers don't have any other place to get seeds than to go to them, to go to them for that. Now, where do the doctors come in? The doctors come in the fact that when they capture the food security, which they actually have done now, because most of the seed growers have been killed. Just to give you an example, between 2015 and 2018, 37,500 victims were killed by Boko Haram. These were farmers. Then of these 37,500, 32,000, that's 85% were Muslims. 5,500 were Christians. And in states like Zamfara, 60% of the victims were Hausa. 40% were Fulani. So it became clear that this has nothing to do with Islamic terrorism. It has to do with elimination of all the seed growers. Now they have eliminated the seed growers. Now they're moving into the second phase of their program. Now, when the farmers go to them, we now depend exclusively on the GMOs.
So we now depend on GMOs right now?
Exactly. Because without the GMOs, you cannot really get seeds, unless we are getting seeds from different African countries and some places. Some places in the south, especially southwest, and some parts of southeast, we can still get our own seeds because the Boko Haram have not really been infiltrated them. But they are trying to do that.
They killed the people. They killed them. So that when they return to their farms, doesn't it all make sense? That this is what is causing the problem, and they tell us, Islamic terrorism. How come Muslims are killed the most? That's why Benue State is called the food basket of Nigeria. I think they still have it on the number plate for cars. Out of about 29 local governments in Benue, about 26 or 27 have IDP camps. Who is farming from Benue again? And eventually when they now allow them and say, the security challenges have been taken care of, you can go back to your farms, they can only go back if they have the genetically modified organisms. And when they plant those ones, no terrorists will come to kill them again. Because now that in itself is already terrorism. Terrorism is all about killing, destroying. So this one now will kill even more people than the terrorists would have killed.
Enugu people, wake up.
See what's going on? And now look at Kenya. In Kenya, they have now made a law. You cannot even share or distribute organic seeds. That's where this one is headed. You see how they're introducing it and making it commercial now? In the next 1 or 2 years, you will see a new law will come. In fact, you will be treated as a terrorist when they see you with organic seeds in Nigeria. This is where this is headed. Listen to this young man.
Do you know it's illegal now for me to share my organic seeds with my neighbor? Yes, it's illegal by law. They even created now a law to give the international organizations rights through patenting of their seeds. Patenting of their seeds. Foreigners to patent their seeds here. And those are the seeds you must use, and you're not supposed to use any other seeds. And that's why there's that discussion of fake seeds, fake what. Today, organic seeds, Lynn, are called fake seeds. Because they are forcing us to go into the new world order agenda of what we call genetically modified seeds, GMO seeds. GMO seeds are lab-created seeds. They produce food, but with it comes so many factors that raise eyebrows. Number one, Lynn, if you plant GMO seeds, for example, maize or tomatoes, you cannot replant the seeds once you harvest. So what does that tell you? You have to go back to that guy who's patented these seeds and buy from him. You and I, probably, even if it's not our parents, your grandparents, have that small farm in Ushago where you're harvesting maize, and if they harvest 100 bags, they will keep 1 bag to replant in the next season. So with GMO seeds, you cannot do that. So that means they can decide whether they can sell it to you or not sell it to you. So it's about control. Number two, once you plant GMO seeds on your piece of land, on the next season, you cannot plant organic seeds. They will not, it cannot grow, or the produce cannot be up to terms with what you used to, because it affects the soil structure.
Yeah.
So under the New World Order agenda, their main target is to control food and farming land. Because they knew we control the food, we control the masses. And not just about what you eat, but they want to take over the entire agriculture. It states clearly that the entire agricultural land and food production must be transferred from individuals or small-scale farmers to corporations.
Mm-hmm. Did you hear? That's Kenya. That's Kenya. It's coming to Nigeria. And the plan is to take it around the whole of Africa, except for those ones who have aligned themselves now with Russia, Mali, Burkina Faso, Niger. Have you seen it for yourself? Have you seen for yourself? I have talked about this. Go to my YouTube channel, Joseph Okechukwu. I'm sure this is where you're watching this video. You can scroll all the way down, go to videos and scroll down. You will see how long ago I made a video on this and began to talk about it. That's why my people in South Africa are some of the most immune deficient souls on the continent of Africa. The immune deficiency in South Africa is astronomical because that's where Monsanto calls home. That's where they call home, and now they are in Nigeria. To do this, all because of money, our people are partnering with them. When you are immune deficient, any disease that comes, and they are planning probably another one in 2025, people will just be dropping like flies. Healthy food boosts your immune. They don't want that anymore. And we're partnering with them. They will have a law very, 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 very soon. If we allow this to happen, so I don't want to waste too much of your time. Let me tell you what you have to do. Africans, not just Nigerians, wherever you are in Nigeria, even if you have never appeared in the media before, pick up your phone, pick up everything you have. Let's descend on them. Let everybody make videos. Let everybody make write-ups. Let us attack this wickedness. And those of you who are closer to them where they are releasing that stuff, if you are a farmer, check out the thing they are giving to you. Ask them, is this one, or if it's not, don't buy it. Go to the villages. We'll still, if you don't have it in your village, go to Igbo land. We'll still have organic corn there. We have organic maize. We have organic everything. That's why they are trying to filtrate our farmers, our farmlands in Igbo land, and we're still fighting them. In Yoruba land too, they're also resisting. Resist and farm what you have. Don't allow them to give you this rubbish. They have already gone to Southwest or you to go and release that stuff. You people will gather there and tell them it will never happen. Go and crop and farm it in your own houses and eat it by yourselves. Anywhere you find it, we are not going to beat anybody, but we will tell you to your faces, you're going to be bankrupted. We will sensitize everybody, gather small groups, even churches. Go to your churches and tell them these are the dangers of what these people want to do. They want to mass depopulate and destroy us with this thing. Unfortunately, we don't have thinking politicians in Nigeria. So we don't have any voice out there to defend us. We will defend ourselves. We did it during the time of COVID. We did it during the time of Ebola. It was Nigerians, ordinary Nigerians rose up and fought, and the government bowed and did what we wanted. You know, we're going to do it again. This time around, we will treat this maize as COVID. We will treat it as Ebola. Everybody, wherever you are, raise alarm. However wherever you're going to, as you're raising alarm, you are sensitizing, you are mobilizing, you are telling everyone everywhere. In our villages, let them know the dangers associated with this and tell them to shun this evil.